Hey guys, X-Agent here, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Dallas Fuel, and as you may know, they're sitting quite low on the table of the Overwatch League. They're not doing great, and this is especially surprising considering going into the first season, they were looking to be one of the best teams after completely crushing everyone in Contenders NA, but now they're kind of slumping, they're kind of slacking, and today we're going to be discussing the problems with the Dallas Fuel and what can make them better and what is going to happen going into Stage 2 and the rest of the Overwatch League season. Okay, so I've got 4 main points for you today, and the first one is the lack of a really good projectile DPS player. Now, Seagull right now and Taimu are playing as the projectile DPS, and it's not really projectile DPS, it's secondary DPS, because you also be able to play hits and characters. So Seagull and Taimu are kind of taking turns, they're going back and forth, but and Taimu is really good, but he's also super inconsistent. Some days he's popping off, he's getting loads of kills, completely destroying the enemy team, and other days he's just sitting back, not really doing much, getting killed first in every fight. And again, Seagull, the other projectile DPS or secondary DPS is better. He's he doesn't play, he's really good, and I think a lot of people give him a lot of hate because he's a streamer and he's a really popular streamer, and he is really good, but he's just not good enough to fight against the other people in the Overwatch League. Like, you've got projectile DPS like Prophet and Fleta, who are just so good, and Seagull just isn't up to their caliber. Okay, but then yeah, so they really need to get a good projectile DPS player in, and they sort of have. We learned a few weeks ago that AKM is coming into Dallas Fuel, which is a super good pickup because AKM is known as one of the best hit scan players in the world, but his Genji is, we haven't seen his Genji ever before, and he said he's been practicing it and he says he's been grinding it out, but we haven't ever actually seen his Genji in pro play, so we're not entirely sure. And just yesterday, I think maybe the day before that, they announced Rascal, who was the London Spitfire secondary DPS, but he was the substitute secondary DPS because Prophet was playing most of the time. He is going to be joining Dallas Fuel, and I think this is a great pickup for the Dallas Fuel because he can play Soldier, he can play Pharah, he can play Genji, he can play pretty much any DPS character you require him to play at the highest level in the game. He is super underrated, I think, because you've got you've got Prophet and Birdo on his team who are just so good, but he is one of the best players in the world, and I think this will really help the Dallas Fuel, especially considering they can now fight on the DPS level with effect on the Tracer, who's just really good and basically been carrying the team through all their few wins. Okay, so that's what they need, and they've already taken action on that, which is pretty cool. And the second one, that is tank synergy. Coco and Mickey, they're just not playing great together. They used to be really good together because then they just used to have better communication. I don't know what's wrong now, but they're just not playing well. And I think a main reason of this is one of my next points, but we'll just talk about XQC quickly. XQC could have worked with Mickey. We've seen a few games with him, and he did play fairly well. It wasn't like stomps like some of the games that we've seen against the Dallas Fuel. And XQC, of course, got suspended, if you didn't know, for... It's a long story. Let's just say he got suspended until the end of Stage 1, so we may see him coming in, or we may see Dallas Fuel pick up a new main tank. We don't know right now. But yeah, so we could see him coming in, which could help the synergy, but I think this leads perfectly onto my third point. I think the main reason that synergy is gone is Mickey just isn't very good on new D.Va. Mickey on old D.Va was absolutely insane. He was really good. Back in Apex Season 1, when they first picked him up, and in that patch was the patch that D.Va kind of became OP, Mickey was carrying the team so much. Mickey and Coco were playing so well together, and especially on the back of Mickey's amazing D.Va, who they just bought in for that tournament. It was crazy, and Envious went on to win that tournament. But on the new D.Va with less defense matrix, he can play less of police style, and he has to play much more aggressively with the micro missiles, which do so much damage. And he just isn't used to that, and you see it. He's just not as good on this new D.Va than it is on the old D.Va, with the one with the 4-second defense matrix. Yeah, so I think getting another off-tank player in would be really good for the Dallas Fuel, just to try and, one, build synergy with them, because it just not seems to be working between Coco and Mickey right now, and two, just to get that better D.Va in. There are plenty of D.Vas right now who are free agents. Void is one of them. He used to play for Kongdu Panthera, but I think he didn't join Overwatch League for personal reasons. But there are plenty of good off-tanks you can pick up right now. Okay, so number 4, this is probably the most important thing that Dallas Fuel aren't doing well right now, and that is communication. They're just not talking well. From what we've seen, from what we've heard, they're just not communicating properly. They've, of course, from all what we've heard was probably to emphasize the point that they weren't talking properly, but I suspect that the dives aren't working properly because of lack of communication, and also it forces them, if they're not playing well together, it forces them to play comps that don't really fit their style. Like, we've seen a lot of anti-dive out of Dallas because that requires less communication probably than dive, because dive is super hard to pull off, so we've seen a lot of Arista Hog coming from them. Yeah, so this is something that I really need to focus on, because calling targets is so important in Overwatch esports, because you have to be able to focus down a target quickly, effectively, and then you can't just be sitting in the enemy's backline not being able to kill someone, because you'll just die. Like on the Mercy meta especially, we're playing, it's hard to explain, but we're playing very much tank destroy, so tanks will get melted in this meta. So if you don't have the communication to get in and you get out, you're basically dead. You're not going to win any games. Yeah, so here's a quick clip from I think the Overwatch League. It was in one of the highlight reels in between games of Dallas Fuel communicating, and you'll see my problem.
Look at that!
Armor's in there.
I can't get in yet. Careful, careful. This tire? Wait for tire.
Oh, there's an end. Target,
Go point together.
I'm dead.
Point together.
I'm dead.
Happen point.
Someone. Targets. Baby. Targets. What's in the back?
Send that.
You're on the back. You're aiming for no heals. Try and get a tick. No, okay, it's out. Reset.
Johnny?
Okay, obviously in this fight you can see that basically no one's talking. So I think Custer in the backlines, who is talking, he died, and then it kind of all went silent, which is really bad. And even it got to the point where Custer, when he was dead, had to remind the team to call targets. And this should be something that comes instantly. Every member of the team should be calling targets, just so they can focus on people who's low and actually win fights. So guys, yeah, I think they're the 4 main problems that Dallas Fuel have had so far. Thank you for watching this just quick video. I'm trying to get back into uploading more. I haven't uploaded for a few months now, but I'm hoping to get at least a couple videos out every week now. And they'll be on anything like Overwatch, a lot on the Overwatch League, some on Fortnite, some any game that I feel like playing, to be honest. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Tune in for some more content.